It's humid as heck in the month of July, but our trio from heck have good times in supply.
Target acquired.
Oh, come on, Moxxie. It's hot enough out here already. Here's 10 things I loved
and hated
about Helluva Boss Season 2, Episode 5, Unhappy Campers. Keep in mind I always do longer analyses of these episodes in the weeks that follow, so feel free to subscribe and hit that bell if you don't want to miss those. But for now, let's simp over some summer camp shenanigans. Number 1. I hate to be shallow right off the bat, although I'm sure some characters wish that things were more shallow, if you know what I mean. But the visual aspect of this episode, like the camp setting and especially the character designs, are just fantastic. Tomboy Millie in baggy clothing with a beanie hat is something I never knew I needed in my life. And aside from British Birdo Birthday Boy from yonder episode, I struggled to think of a single Helluva Boss image more adorable than this. Oh, I stand corrected. And now I fall corrected too. The sinner who commissioned the kill has a really cool design too. I love the fish-like features, the long kelpie hair, the glowing yellow eyes under a mask of black, and his entire chest area having this cool aquatic aesthetic to it, implying that he died via his insides flooding up with water. Very tragic way to go, I know, but hey, at least you'll be fun at parties now, Mr. Lava Lamb Midriff. Talk to Beelzebub, she'll show you how to work it. And speaking of working it, Moxxie decided to just say, screw it, no more quick dress-up games. Everybody knows I'm fabulous, so I'm just gonna drag this new look out for the entirety of the runtime. Yup, we get a full episode with Moxxie and a feminine ensemble. And I'm not gonna lie, this looks pretty fire. The fuzzy boots, the tube top, the unnecessarily ripped jeans, and the idea of hiding his horns under twin pigtails of hair is chef's kiss perfection. It's ironic that Moxxie's an assassin, cause there isn't a single outfit he's been in so far where he hasn't killed it. He got his behind looking damn good though. Also, I really appreciate that despite Moxxie interacting with teen girls who are notorious for being judgmental, nobody called him fat. I think the Moxxie fat joke has finally died out, people.
Okay, they're dead, alright? We're not gonna be seeing them again.
Number 2. Barbie Wire is officially on the scene and in the flesh, sporting a voice provided by Yin-Hei Yong, I hope I pronounced that correctly, as well as a stellar human design that I probably should have talked about in the last point, but at least I'm addressing it here, so shush. Anyway, while yes, Barbie is yet another lingering plot thread that they're likely going to dive into later, this one I'm more lenient of since the mystery behind Barbie is probably the most intriguing we've gotten in a while. While she doesn't say too much detail about her past, we do see that she X'd out her circus tattoo on her head that her, Blitz, and Fizz all shared, similar to how Verosika X'd out her Blitz heart tattoo. We know that both of them went to rehab, so did the two of them bond over a shared hatred of how Blitz screwed them over and X'd out both of their tattoos as a sort of sign of their friendship? And maybe once they both got out, Verosika hooked her up with not just a succubus crystal, but a job involving her fellow succubi? Man, I thought Verosika was just using Barbie as a jab at Blitz, but maybe the two of them actually became really good friends back in the day. Honestly, I'd love to see an episode where Barbie and Verosika are together in rehab and just share stories together. It'd be a perfect way to dive into both characters' backstories, kinda like Almost Got Him from Batman the Animated Series. Make it happen, Viv, I'd watch it. Number 3. We officially have our first ever full-fledged Moxxie and Millie episode, where they are the focus and they both have some nice characterization. Moxxie's self-esteem issues come bubbling back to the surface for a temporary relapse, where his own wife upstages him at every opportunity. This especially sucks because this was gonna be his crowning moment of leadership, where he led a successful mission and proved that he could handle a job on his own. But his crippling type A tendencies and desire to do things his way overcomplicate what's essentially a preschool-level Scooby-Doo caper where the culprit is as obvious as can be. While I understand that Moxxie wanted to do things on his own to show that he could, sometimes being a leader means taking suggestions from others or scrapping a previous plan if something more obvious ends up coming to light. You need a balance of typing both in jobs and in life, and Millie is just the B that he needs.
I'm a type A and I'm type B.
As for Millie, we get this very interesting line during her breakdown, where she says that being a human celebrity made her feel like she was important, someone to be proud of, showing that despite her rough, gruff exterior, Millie does possess some self-esteem issues akin to her husband. It's implied that her parents secretly resent her for her choice to be a freelance killer. We know that she came from a large family, which would be a huge trigger to make oneself stand out, and we're still not sure what she did after she left the farm, aside from a certain soiree with Jabberjaw. While it is a shame that this revelation is kept to just a single passing line, I am at least glad that they chose to put some of the spotlight on Millie instead of just making this a Moxxie conflict yet again. This definitely feels more like a Moxxie and Millie episode, instead of just a Moxxie episode featuring Millie. Still waiting for Mills to go on a solo outing though. Like, cut our favorite possum completely out of the equation and just develop her on her own. That would be amazing. Number 4. Maybe I'm just an old saltine simping for simpler times, but it is nice to see IMP just go on an actual job again and have it be the focus. I mean, when was the last time an episode centered around their duties as hired assassins? Cherub back in season 1, I think? While I do tend to rank the straightforward job episodes lower than the more grand emotional ones, I honestly do miss them from time to time. Heck, sometimes I kinda wish that Helluva Boss would have just had a full first season of IMP going on their missions with tons of comedy and slice-of-life character bits, instead of bringing out the big guns as early as they did. I personally love the series as it is, don't get me wrong, but these simpler outings where they just head to the surface and off somebody with some nice character growth in the background are becoming a rarity nowadays, and it was nice to see them come back to basics. I just miss Jobs, man. Jobs, you were gone too soon. It was nice to have you back, even for just a fleeting moment. Number 5. Millie gets her first song and it's a genuine banger. It does feel kinda cliched and Disney Channel-esque on the surface, but it leans into the cheesy and campiness of the whole deal, with the sing-along lyrics at the bottom going absolutely nuts when Millie's fans interrupt, and some signature risque Helluva Boss touches for good measure. This wasn't the hoof-stomping country hoedown I was expecting for her first song, but a camp rock-esque solo piece with a lower cadence still turned out pretty dang sweet. The other songs are really good too. Like Moxxie's little self-indulgent number that completely backfires is great, and that epic rock number during the fight scene was cool as well. Say what you want about Helluva Boss, but 9 times out of 10, their music is on point. Number 6. Okay, I may not have been a fan of the Moxxie is fat joke, but the idea of Moxxie constantly getting attacked by sharks no matter where he is and how little sense it makes, that is a certified keeper. Also, is this actually the same glowy-eyed shark from Harvest Moon Festival? Did he get some kind of Earth disguise and succubus crystal of his own just so he can torment Moxxie? I'd say that'd be jumping the shark, but I'm honestly laughing too hard to say anything at all. Number 7. For a show that's had perpetual pacing problems in the past, this episode was actually paced pretty well. It was very montage heavy with a lot of time passage conveyed through some really cute sequences, and it works perfectly. Blitz's B-plot is just given enough time to show what he's doing without interrupting the main story, and the emotional moments are given proper time to breathe instead of just being speedrun like they were in previous outings. This one felt more brisk than it did rushed, and it seemed like they squeezed in everything necessary for a satisfying experience. Number 8. If the shark gag didn't clue you in already, this is a very funny episode. There's a lot of variety on the table here. From cringe comedy when Moxxie is talking to the teen girls, to slapstick when the counselor just gets freaking vaporized by fire, to shock humor with Moxxie giving TMI while live on stage. Not to mention that kid who became freaking beach pizza after Millie's spike and nobody bothered to help him. Honestly, this is a godsend after last episode, which was nothing but swears and shock. Number 1. Hey! While I am glad that we technically got to see a new side of Millie, I was really hoping it would have been more than just a one-line implication. I've said before that I do love Millie as she is, and I think she's a strong and unique character without any deep-seated trauma, but the more I watch this scene, the more I feel like it's just missing something. A flashback, a story, a scene where she flips through her phone photos like Blitz and Stolas, telling a lot with a little. I don't know, just something else in addition to what we got. I don't know, maybe this is just setting up a whole episode where Millie's past is tackled in a more direct way, and if so, I'll gladly withdraw my previous statement. Number 2. Hey! This is more of a missed opportunity than anything else, but I feel like the whole Millie being internet famous thing could have been utilized in a more interesting way instead of just being another trigger for Moxxie's jealousy. Honestly, when I heard that Millie's vids were posted online, I thought this would be an ideal time for the dork agents to make a return. Like, they see Millie doing all these insane things, they see right through her disguise and recognize her from the footage they got, maybe they piece together bits of their own personal mystery, finally realizing that IMP is going after humans who hired them for revenge, and maybe think about setting traps for them the next time they emerge. Honestly, a reminder that the dorks are still on the prowl could have been a much more interesting ending than the whimper they actually concluded with. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, but I feel like this plot point could have led to something more interesting if they really wanted it to. Alright, with 8 love points and only 2 hate, that brings my first impression score to an 8 out of 10. A solid and fun episode that probably could have used a little more time in the oven writing-wise, but in general was an exciting endeavor with some solid setups, creative set pieces, and a completely unique vibe when compared to the other episodes so far. Summer camp is a setting just right for fun shenanigans, and this episode capitalized on it brilliantly. But as always, what do you guys think? Do you consider this adventure some fun in the sun, or did it just burn you like so many times before? Leave your thoughts and your own top lists in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I hope to see you all real soon.